Bonjour, Mad Maniacs, and welcome back to Mad About Disney. Today we are at LaRonde. Now I'll give a little bit of background before we get into this video. So right now I'm on a road trip up north from Pennsylvania. I went through New York, Saratoga Springs, Lake George. We climbed Whiteface Mountain, which is the tallest mountain in New York, and we made our way up here to Montreal. So I don't know if you could see, but it's hard to see, but right there is a little bit of a bridge in Montreal. So I'm at LaRonde, which is a Six Flags amusement park on an island right off the city of Montreal. So I'm sure at some point today we will catch a glimpse of some more of the city than just what we're seeing from here. And for the first time ever, I have no idea what to expect from a park that I'm at. I didn't do much prior research on what rides were good, so my plan is to just kind of spend the day exploring and seeing what there is to do here in LaRonde. So let's explore. Alright, so the first thing we did is we walked all the way to the back of the park by this roller coaster called Goliath, because again, I knew nothing, but on the map it looked pretty cool. So let's give it a try. Alright, so we just got off of Goliath, and wow, that was a great ride. It's like Sky Rush at Hershey Park on the front half. The smoothness is like that throughout, but the actual coaster track is that initial drop and big hills like that, and then the back half is kind of like Steel Forest at Dorney Park. Overall, though, that was a great ride. I'm going to go do it again because there's like no wait. So I'm going to go do that again. Alright, so we just got off Goliath for the second time, and now we're headed over to this other coaster over here. But it looks kind of like Great Bear at Hershey Park, but like smaller. Is that what it's called? Endor. So yeah, I think that's what this is. But here's the sign. It's a cool logo. I like it. Well, that was a ride. The track was very interesting. A lot of loops, corkscrews, all that good stuff. And which, obviously I saw that from outside, so I was like, oh, this could be a really cool coaster. But that bounces you around so much. I was dizzy and my head hurts just coming off of that. So I'll say that if you're wanting to do this and you're easily prone, like I'm pretty good with coasters, so like I'm fine now. But like if you're someone who's easily prone to like getting bad headaches on coasters, and don't do that at the beginning of the day. That's all I'll say, because then you might be for the rest of the day. One thing I'm noticing about this park is that it's overgrown and run down. Like you can see over here, there's like weeds growing, and this ride is just shut down completely with like weeds overgrowing on it. Now that wouldn't deter me from coming back to this park at all. I don't care if there are weeds. I mean, I enjoy parks for their rides and theming. So obviously, if any of this sort of stuff was in a Disney park, that would be very much out of character. But for a Six Flags park, so now we're just kind of walking around. We might do this wooden ride over here, and then we're just going to see what else we're going to do. I don't know what it's called or how to get there, but we're going to go do this wooden coaster now. Alright, so the wooden one is closed, so we're going to go check on, there's an orange one over here that looks kind of cool, I guess. I don't know what it's called though. There's no sign that I'm seeing. Alright, so we just got off of that orange one. Still don't know what it's called. There was no sign or anything. And I apologize, but they haven't let me record anything as of yet. So far, hold on, let me wet my camera real quick. That ride was alright. It was fun enough. It felt like one of those rides you find at a pier on the boardwalk, for those of you who live in an area where there's a pier on the boardwalk. But yeah, it wasn't a super unique coaster by any means, and it was a little bit jerky, but not as bad as the other one that we did. That one was really bad. But yeah, overall it was fun. I think we might be doing the wooden one next because I think that opened up. Alright, so apparently there's 2 different tracks because when we got to a certain point in the line, it split us. So I don't know if they're totally different or if it's like a racing track like Lightning Racer at Hershey Park. So we got in one of them and we're just going to see. Yeah, Mikey editing here. I can't make you guys keep watching this. This is just terrible stuff. But yeah, the ride was fun, but the camera work. Also, another random thought. Would you guys prefer me to do these little voiceovers rather than the text blurbs? Just trying it out. Let me know. Alright, so we just got off of Le Monster, and it was alright. It was bumpy, but it was still fun. Wooden roller coasters are always bumpy. Also, I noticed that they're playing the Star Tours music loop here, which makes sense. But yeah, that was a fun ride. I took some GoPro video. Hopefully that comes across well. Yeah, in case this wasn't clear already, it did not come across well. So, yeah. But if not, and you didn't see anything, I'm sorry. But if you did, hope it wasn't too bumpy, because that ride was bumpy and my hand was shaking. Gosh, Mikey, we know that by now. So now we're gonna walk around and try to find the next ride to do. Alright, so I'm sitting in the shade outside of the kids section over here. That's why there's this sign here. Merci, reviens nous voir. Probably means thank you, come again, maybe? Oh, I don't speak French. I'm taking a breather in the shade, basically. Got water. And I'll give my overall thoughts on the park up to this point. I think that if you are visiting Montreal for 2 days, like I am, it's probably good to spend one of them or 2/3 of one of them here. I think because yesterday I explored the rest of the town of Montreal, or city I should say, and I was able to do most things that I wanted to do in a day. I went to the old city, the old port, we went to the Cathedral Notre Dame, which is a big tourist attraction, and we even went up to the Olympic Park, which is up north of the city. We were able to do most things that we wanted to do. Now, we're not staying the whole day here because we're going back to the city tonight for dinner and walking around and stuff. But I do think that if you're here for multiple days, it'd be good. If you're here for one day, probably not worth the stop. I think that overall the park is, because it was recently purchased by Six Flags, so I think that it's on the up curve, but I think that it still has some work to be done, and I think that in the future it could be a really good park. Also, as far as how much time you need in the park, if you're coming on a weekday, based off of this, if you're coming on any weekday, you only need 2/3 of a day, and you can probably do pretty much anything you want to do. As far as whether I would come back, yes, but not within the next 5 years. I do want to go to Canada's Wonderland in Toronto, though, because that looks like a good park. Alright, So we're currently walking over towards Vampire, which is the big yellow coaster. It's the last major one on my list, and I definitely won't be able to record anything on this one, but I'll let you know once we're off the ride what I thought. Alright, just got off of Vampire. Woo! I was dizzy coming off of that ride. Fun though, smooth. Similar to Great Bear at Hershey Park or Talon at Dorney Park. Similar, not the exact same. I felt like that one had more loops and corkscrews than the other ones. Really fun ride. But if you don't like the loops and stuff, that ride's not for you because you get dizzy.
Riders between 44 and 48 inches in height.
Alright, so we just got off of that ride there. Once again, it wouldn't let me record. It's kind of a bummer too, because I brought my GoPro, which attaches to my wrist like it's like a Titan thing. So you'd think that it would be okay, but that's fine. But it is a really cool ride if you ever happen to be here, because you get to see the Montreal skyline as you go around, because it goes up and then spins around. We don't really have a plan now, so I think we are just gonna walk around, and maybe there's a few roller coasters we didn't do that maybe we'll try to do. Alright, so as you guys can see, there are clouds rolling in. The wind is picking up and it is about to really pour. And other than, there's one, I forget what it's called, there's a new ride that's like a circle. It just goes in a circle that they have at a bunch of Six Flags parks. That ride, which is new and had a long line, that's the only ride that had a slightly long line. I didn't get to do that. Or there's one other roller coaster, I don't know what it's called, but it's the same roller coaster as Sidewinder at Hershey Park, or I think it's Stinger at Dorney Park, and they have it at the Boardwalk. Like, it's the same ride. It's the one that goes, you know, you're down, then you do the loop, and then you go back, and then you do backwards. You do the same thing. They have it at every park. So we're going to be heading out because other than that, we pretty much did everything we want to do. It's 2 o'clock, and we want to go enjoy the rest of the day in Montreal. But shockingly, other than 2 rides, which we could have done, but you can see my hair is already starting to blow because of the wind, because of the rain that's coming. In fact, I think I can see the rain in the distance. It's going to hit me any minute now. But other than that, we did pretty much everything we wanted to do between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. It's like 4 hours. So LaRonde is definitely a half to second day park, and wow, that rain is getting closer. So with that and the rain approaching in the distance, I'm going to be signing off here from LaRonde, and I will see all of you Mad Maniacs in the next video. Wow, it is getting hazy. Alright, bye. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of this little voiceover thing I've been doing while editing, and let me know if you want to see more videos from unique theme parks like LaRonde. I recorded another video from this trip that will be coming in the coming days or weeks. I don't know yet, but I'm going to leave it as a surprise as to what it is. Alright, bye.